To love God in Deuteronomy 6:5 is not a small religious duty. It is the total orientation of your whole person, thoughts, desires, choices, and resources around God as your supreme treasure. It is the central command that defines what a covenant relationship with God is meant to be. The context, rescued people commanded to love Moses, gives this command right after reminding Israel who God is and what he has done, the one Lord who brought them out of slavery and entered into a covenant with them. Love, then, is a response to grace already shown. Israel is not told, love God so that he might adopt you, but, because he has become your God, love him with everything. This means biblical love for God is covenant love, a loyal, grateful, responsive love toward the God who first chose, saved, and spoke to his people. It stands opposed to idolatry, forgetfulness, and divided allegiance. Where idols demand fearful service without genuine relationship, the God of Deuteronomy calls for a relationship marked by affection, trust, and obedience flowing from remembered mercy. With all your heart. In Hebrew thought, the heart, lev, is the control center of the person, mind, will, emotions, and conscience together. To love God with all the heart means letting God's character and word shape your thinking, how you interpret life, people, success, pain. Bending your will to his will, saying yes where you used to resist and no where you used to indulge. Allowing your emotions to be trained by truth. Learning to rejoice in what he calls good, grieve over what he calls sin, and rest in his promises. So this is not just feeling warm toward God. It is an inner recentering. God becomes the primary reference point for how you think, choose, and feel. With all your soul, dal, soul, nefesh, points to your very life, yourself, your desires, your sense of identity and purpose. Loving God with all your soul means seeing your life story inside God's larger story. Who I am and why I exist are defined by him. Surrendering your deepest desires to him, ambitions, dreams, fears, and longings. Being willing, if called, to risk or even lay down your life out of loyalty to him. This love goes beyond convenience. It means, my life is yours. I belong to you more than to any role, label, or earthly attachment. If anything must be lost, let it be lost before I lose you. With all your might. Might, miod, is a flexible word that includes your physical strength, but also your muchness, resources, opportunities, influence, capacities. Loving God with all your might is using your body, health, energy, skills in ways that honor him, treating your money, time, possessions, and talents as tools for his purposes, not as idols for your comfort. Leveraging whatever influence you have, family, work, online presence, to point back to his worth, not your own glory. Practically, this shows up in how you schedule your day, how you spend, what you say yes and no to, and what sacrifices you are willing to make out of devotion to him. Love expressed, obedience, remembrance, and teaching. In Deuteronomy 6, loving God is immediately connected to keeping his commands. Obedience is love in action. Not cold rule-keeping, but gladly aligning with his will because you trust his goodness. Remembering his works, rehearsing what God has done, deliverance, provision, correction, keeps the heart tender and grateful instead of drifting into entitlement. Teaching the next generation, talking about God's words. When you sit, walk, lie down, and rise, shows that love for God becomes the culture of the home, not just private devotion. So to love God is to build a life where his words are woven into daily conversations, decisions, and habits, not confined to religious moments. The problem: our love is not whole. Deuteronomy 6:5 exposes a gap, what we ought to be versus what we are. No one naturally loves God with all the heart, all the soul, all the might, every moment. The command is perfect. Our love is partial, mixed, and often distracted. This does two things. It humbles us, revealing that sin is not just breaking rules, but failing to love God as he deserves. It drives us to depend on God's transforming work. asking Him to circumcise our hearts, to write His law on our hearts, to pour His own love into us so we can love Him back more fully. In other words, this command both defines the goal and sends us to God for the power to move toward it. Growing in love for God. Practical pathways to love God. Deuteronomy 6:5. In daily life, you can lean into some concrete rhythms, contemplation of God's character and works, regularly meditate on who God is, holy, merciful, faithful, and what He has done, creation, redemption in Christ, personal providence. Love grows where He is seen more clearly. Honest obedience in specific areas. Pick one area, speech, sexuality, money, relationships, and ask, if I truly loved God with all my heart here, what would change? Then act on what you see, reordering desires. When you notice a rival love, approval, comfort, status, bring it to God. This is pulling my heart. Help me love you more than this. Whole life integration. Invite God into ordinary zones, work, chores, entertainment, asking, how can I love you with my might here? Over time, these choices, empowered by the Spirit, form a life where loving God with heart, soul, and might is not just a verse you quote, but the direction and atmosphere of your whole existence. So, expanded. To love God, Deuteronomy 6:5, is to recognize Him as the only faithful Lord, respond to His saving kindness with total life devotion, and keep growing, by His grace, toward a love that is more undivided, more obedient, more joyful, and more costly, until every part of who you are reflects that He is your greatest good.